Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Namācārya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityānanda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Sri Radha Krishna Gaur Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giridhardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Swami Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Swami Bhaktivedanta ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya Narayanam namaskritya Naram cheva narottamam Naram cheva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayat Tato Jayam Mudirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome, everyone, to this reading and discussion on Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta. As we do every week, we will be reciting a few selected verses from the Adi Lila first chapter of Caitanya-caritāmṛta, explaining the meaning and the benefit of hearing this powerful transcendental literature. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jai Nityānanda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Glory to Sri Caitanya and Nityānanda. Glory to Advaita Chandra, and glory to all the devotees of Sri Gaura, Lord Chaitanya. Itina Thakur Gaudiya ke Karye Chenayatmasat Etinera Charana Vandan Natire Morinat. These three deities of Vrindavana, Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinatha, have absorbed the heart and soul of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, followers of Lord Chaitanya. I worship their lotus feet, for they are the lords of my heart. Grante Rarambe Karimangala Charana Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinera Smarana. In the beginning of this narration, simply by remembering the spiritual master, the devotees of the Lord, and the personality of Godhead, I have invoked their benedictions. Tinera Smarane Vigna Vinasana Anayasaya Nijavanchita Purana. Such remembrance destroys all difficulties and very easily enables one to fulfill his own desires. Simangala Charanoi Trivida Prakar Vastu Nirdesha Shiravada Namaskara. The invocation involved three processes: defining the objective, offering benedictions, and offering obeisances. We will begin with our selected verses for today's reading. We are reading from Adilila chapter 5, text 190. All synonyms, translations, and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. Text 190. Ranga yasti haste dole yana matta simhan chari pache vidyache charanera bringa. Ranga yasti, a red stick, haste, in the hand, dole, moves, yena, like, matta, mad, simha, lion, charipashe, all around, vedi, surrounding, ache, there is, charanete, at the lotus feet, bringa, bumblebees. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. His red stick moving in his hand, he seemed like a maddened lion. All around the four sides of his feet were bumblebees. Should be noted here that Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami is considering his vivid description of Lord Nityānanda. Text 191. Parishada gane diki sabagopa veshe, Krishna Krishna kahe sabe saprema aveshe. Parishada gane, associates, deki, seeing, Saba, all, Gopaveshe, in the dress of coward boys, Krishna, 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 Krishna. Kahe, says, Sabe, all, Saprema, of ecstatic love, Aveshe, in absorption. Translation. His devotees dressed like coward boys surrounded his feet. So many bees and also chanted Krishna, Krishna, absorbed in ecstatic love. Text 192. Singavam si bajai keho keho nache gai, Sivaka yogaya tambula chamara dulai, Singavam si, horns and flutes, bajaya, play, keha, some of them, nache, dance, gaya, sing, sevaka, a servant, yogaya, supplies, tambula, betel nut, chamara, fan, dulaya, moves. Translation. Some of them played horns and flutes, and others danced and sang. Some of them offered betel nuts, and other waved chamara fans about him. Text 193. Nityānanda swarupera dekhiya vaibhav, kibarupa ghuna lila alokika sava. Nityānanda swarupera, of Lord Nityānanda Swarupa, dekhiya, seeing, vaibhava, the opulence, kibarupa, what a wonderful form, guna, qualities, lila, pastimes, alaukika, uncommon, sabha, all. Translation. Thus I saw such opulence in Lord Nityānanda Swarupa. His wonderful form, qualities, and pastimes are all transcendental. Text 194. Anande vivalayami kichu nahi jani, tabe hasi Prabhu more kahile navani. Anande, in transcendental ecstasy, vivala, overwhelm, ami, I, kichu, anything, nahi, not, jani, no, tabe, at that time, hasi, smiling, Prabhu, the Lord, more, unto me, kahilena, says, vani, some words. Translation. I was overwhelmed with transcendental ecstasy, not knowing anything else. Then Lord Nityānanda smiled and spoke to me as follows. Text 195. Hare Krishna Dasna Karaha Bhya Vrindavane Yaha Tanha Sarva Lobhyahaya Hare Hare. Oh, Krishna Dāsa, of the name Krishna Dāsa, na, not, karaha, make, bhaya, fear, Vrindavanayaha, go to Vrindavana, tanha, there, sarva, everything, labhya, available, aya, is. Translation. O my dear Krishna Das, do not be afraid. Go to Vrindavana, for there you will attain all things. Text 196. Eta bali pririla moda atasanidiya, antardhan kaila Prabhu nijagana lana. Eta bali, saying this, pririla, dispatch, more, me, atasani, indication of the hand, diya, giving, antardhana kaila, disappeared, Prabhu, my Lord, nijagana lana, taking his personal associates. Translation. After saying he directed me toward Vrindavana by waving his hand, then he disappeared with his associates. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Meritam Yena Tasme Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Namaum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prasantaya Tasme Gurave Namaha Bhagavad Vandana Khadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadatehi Visheshatah Adadana Strinam Danter Idam Yate Punaha Punaham Srimad Rupa Padam Bhoja Dhulishyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavato Smyaham Sadadaso Asmi Sarvata Tat Kripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Presta Sat Karomi Svam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityānanda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. These descriptions in the Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta of the transcendental divine bodily features of Lord Nityānanda are very important. The other day, some devotee asked me, why are you people spending so much time reading all the word for word and all these verses? Can't you just read right through or go to some more interesting parts of Caitanya-caritāmṛta? Just like what Vishwakarma Prabhu was describing. There's a class of devotees, we're not going to give their names to be a little tactful and respectful here, who think that Srila Prabhupada did not give everything. He just gave the basic fundamental, the basic principle, and that they are teaching the higher teachings, the higher knowledge, the higher understanding. This is simply nonsense. Prabhupada taught everything, the beginning, the middle, the end, the lower, the higher, everything. Those who make these kind of comments prove their foolishness and the fact that they've not read or studied Srila Prabhupada teachings and his books, his literatures, his conversations, his various lectures on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. They're obviously not very well acquainted with Srila Prabhupada, as well as common sense understanding of the circumstances that he was facing when he came to this country. As we've read, for those who have carefully heard, when Srila Prabhupada came to America, to Boston and New York, there was not a large society. There was no institutional support. There was no substantial financial support. There were not many dedicated devotees in the beginning, a few hippies and beatniks who came to help. And Srila Prabhupada very slowly, gradually, systematically elevated these people by his kindness, by his mercy, and eventually formed the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And all along, as soon as he started this society, there were some people who were not happy. They were not satisfied, especially some of his godbrothers in India. They started to protest. They started to criticize behind his back. When Srila Prabhupada requested some help for some of his students to stay at Lord Chaitanya's birthplace, he was denied. They did not want to help him. As a matter of fact, some of them took more active participation preaching against him. We have personally witnessed in 1972 at the Mayapur festival how some of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers came to visit him in the bamboo hut in the beginning at Mayapur. There was a gate there at the entrance, and on the left side, there was an old bamboo hut that was constructed very quickly to provide some accommodation for Srila Prabhupada. So some of his godbrothers, sannyasi disciples of His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, came to visit him. And then they started to protest. When they came in the room, they requested that we should leave the room. And they spoke in a mixture of Bengali and English. And we could see on the outside, from between the bamboo slat, there was a very animated discussion. They were protesting, raising their voices, pointing their fingers at Srila Prabhupada. And the word Prabhupada, Swamiji, Swami Maharaj kept coming up. So finally, Prabhupada rang his bell. And he requested his servants to bring his letterhead. Now, those of you who know, or even if you don't know, it's not a big thing, Prabhupada's letterhead did not contain the word Prabhupada. It was Tridandi Goswami A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Now, this is a very important point. I see that our good friend Krishna Kata has put a very nice comment here. These fools are envious of Srila Prabhupada. They attempted to appear more advanced than Srila Prabhupada due to envy, they make inoffensive claims that they know the highest levels of bhakti, and Srila Prabhupada did not teach what we know. A fisherman's lure of illusion and danger. Very good point. So Srila Prabhupada pointed out at his letterhead that he did not use the word Prabhupada in reference to himself. The word Prabhupada was used by his disciples. In the beginning, in 1967-68, some devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, what is an appropriate title for someone of Srila Prabhupada's position? Brahmananda told this story. Govinda Dasi also told this story. And Prabhupada says Guru Dev. And finally, Prabhupada, the word Prabhupada is sometimes used. So devotees started to call Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada in 1968. By 1969, it became common. Up to that time, most devotees used to call Prabhupada Swami Maharaj, which is somewhat of a respectful title. It does not really convey the appropriate respect for someone of Srila Prabhupada's position. And why did the devotees use that term? Because they were recognizing Srila Prabhupada's special position, something which his godbrothers did not recognize. It should be, from a historical perspective, during the manifested presence of Lord Chaitanya from 1486 to 1538, no one ventured outside of the country to preach Gaudiya Vaishnavism, except a few people that went to London, and it really was a failure. There was nothing substantial that was established. Prabhupada came to this country in 1965, started this preaching mission, and within a few years, there was like a Hare Krishna explosion. All around the world, things were moving forward. I remember I was in Montreal in 1969 when we heard that some devotees went to London, England, and made connection with the Beatles, and then they were producing a record. They were chanting in the street. All of a sudden, it was all over the world. And then we found out that George Harrison, a member of the Beatles, had been approached by Guru Das and other devotees, Shyama Sundar, to publish and print the Krishna book. By 1970, the Krishna book was published, the Nectar of Devotion was published, and things were just moving. It was like everywhere. It was expanding by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and by the preaching of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. They did not want to recognize that. So at that first meeting in 1972, they protested. They were angry, pointing their fingers at Prabhupada, criticizing Prabhupada. Eventually, they left in anger and stepped over plates of prasadam that had been cooked by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's personal cook, Ananda Prabhu, who was always very respectful to Prabhupada. Ananda Prabhu was a lifelong brahmachari who used to come around many times and cook for the devotees. He was a very expert cook. And he came to visit Srila Prabhupada. He had cooked a wonderful feast. They just stepped out, and then they started propaganda, along with another advisor from Mathura. They were criticizing, why is Bhaktivedanta Swami calling himself Prabhupada? Because they failed to recognize the special, unique position of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda. And that envy became manifested also after Prabhupada departed. It should be noted that during the manifested presence of Srila Prabhupada's preaching activities from 1965 until November 14th, 1977, none of them came to directly and physically assist Prabhupada. Despite so many requests by Srila Prabhupada, please come and help. There's a large field of activities. None of them would help. Okay, some of them wrote a few letters and you're doing very nice, thank you. But practical help they did not do. The devotees in London, in New York, in Toronto, in Germany, in France, in Italy, in Japan, they did the actual work under the direction and guidance of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, he deserves that title. And anybody who insists on just calling Swami Maharaj, we recognize your enviousness and we don't accept you. You want to criticize Srila Prabhupada, you are nonsense, simply nonsense. Regardless of your austerity, your so-called sannyas, your so-called position, that is simply useless. You become envious of Srila Prabhupada, you become useless. As simple as that. It's not complicated to understand. It is not difficult to understand. Just like Krishna Katha described here, it can be very alluring for neophytes and inexperienced persons to get misled by the false propaganda of some of these people. I wanted to divert here to an important topic. Anyone and anybody who is donated for the printing of the Srimad Bhagavatam, original 1962, 3-volume, please send us your mailing address. We need your mailing address because GoFundMe and PayPal will not divulge your mailing address. Please send us your mailing address either to Vishwakarma, to myself, or Bhakti Ram Singh so that we may send you a sample of the 3 volumes, please. I want to read just a very short description that was compiled by a devotee in Europe about the exalted position of Lord Nityānanda. This is from Adi Lila, chapter 11, text 34. Balarama Dasa Prema Rasa Rasasvadi Nityānanda Namihoy Parama Unmadi. Balaram Das always fully tasted the nectar of love of Krishna. Upon chanting or hearing the name of Nityānanda, he would become extremely maddened. Then we have from Caitanya-caritāmṛta Adi Lila, chapter 8, text 23. Nityānanda balite hoy Krishna premodai, olaya sakala angashru gangavai. Simply by chanting the name Nityānanda, one awakens his love for Krishna. Thus, all of his bodily limbs are agitated by ecstasy of love of God, and tears flow from his eyes like the waters of the Ganges. Then we have a very nice quotation from Chaitanya Bhagavata, Adi Kanda, chapter 9, text 385. Nityānanda heno bhakta sunile shravane, avasya poibi Krishna Chandra sejane. Sri Madhavendra Puri states, if one simply hears the name Nityānanda, he will most certainly attain the lotus feet of Lord Krishna Chandra, irrespective of any other consideration. This is from Chaitanya, another quote. Anyone who just once in his life speaks the word Nityānanda becomes purified. He becomes my pure devotee, from Chaitanya Mangala Madhyakanda, Deliverance of Jagai and Madai. Then we have from Sri Navadvip Dham Mahatmya, chapter 4. Tumi yabe karadai se anayase, Sri Chaitanya Padapai Prema Jale Bhase. Srila Jiva tells Lord Nityānanda, if you are merciful on someone, that person will effortlessly achieve the lotus feet of Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu and thus drown in the ocean of pure ecstatic love for Lord Krishna. Then from Caitanya-caritāmṛta, chapter 6, text 131. Tumar karuna vina ghora nahi pai, sata janme bhaje yadi ghoranga hiyai. But if someone does not get your mercy, then such a person will never achieve Lord Gaura, even if he or she worships Lord Gauranga for a minimum of 100 lifetimes. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So these descriptions of the exalted position of Lord Nityānanda are very, very important. It should not be taken as simply exaggeration. This is very important for devotees to hear and to remember who brought these ecstatic literatures to the attention of the Western world. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, the current Acharya of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Back to you in the studio, Vishwakarma. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Well, thank you very much, and it was a very interesting discussion. about Prabhupada's experience in dealing with his godbrothers. Think about it like this, too, Maxim. Think about this. How many people saw Prabhupada off on the Jaladuta when he left for America in Calcutta? One, his son. One son came. Because it is a fact that there are so many gurus in India. Not only does Prabhupada explain that, he said, not only do they claim to be guru, they also claim to be God. So everybody is so confused there. And Prabhupada thought, and you can understand why he did, he thought, well, I'll take the order of my spiritual master. I'll go to America. We'll see how we do there. And other people had tried to come previously. Vivekananda had come earlier, and he failed. And Bon Maharaj had gone to England. We know that because I met Bon Maharaj, and we know his history. And he failed and went back to India. But Prabhupada, he went to the boat on his own. And by the way, Sumati Maharaj, she thought he would fail. Everybody thought he would fail, but he didn't. Because he is the empowered representative of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He is the Acharya in the disciplic succession that the Gaudiya Math fought about after Bhaktisiddhanta's departure. Yes, they were ready to sell the printing presses. You should know this, Makshi. To go to court and fight for their piece of that organization. And guess what? ISKCON's become Gaudiya Math Part 2. And Prabhupada warned us, don't do this. But this is out of hand anyway. This is completely gone out of control. And I have all kinds of reports worldwide, like in Hawaii, half the devotees in the temple are Narayan disciples. That they sell, this could be rumor, that they sell nefarious things. And I don't mean Prabhupada's original books. This is the case in most places. And I spoke about it before. I wanted to read a section here that supports what I'm saying about Gaudiya Math Part 2. This is from a very important lecture in October 22nd, 1972. And I read it last day too, but I find it's ever fresh. You can hear it over and over again, this philosophy, and it has a new meaning every time you listen carefully. If you somehow or other you can draw a little attention of Krishna, your life will be successful immediately. And how you can draw? Bhaktya mam abhijanati, simply by serving Krishna. Take to the service of Krishna as it is ordered by the spiritual master, because spiritual master is the representative of Krishna. That's very similar to what I read in the pastimes in the Srimad Bhagavatam earlier. We cannot approach Krishna directly. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasada. If you have a bona fide spiritual master representative of Krishna, it is not very difficult. Everyone can become a representative of Krishna. How? Well, you can be a Vartma Pradarshaka guru. You can introduce Krishna to others. And when you become a little advanced, when you study the books and practice the philosophy, you can teach others how to do the same thing, like a temple president did. If you simply carry the message of Krishna without any adulteration, that's all. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Amar Agya Guru Hoy. If you become a spiritual master under my order, not everybody becomes Diksha Guru, by the way. That is, cherry picking this statement and justifying you pretending, whoever it is, posing and posturing that role. So if you carry out the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna, then you become Guru. Amara Agya Guruhana. Unfortunately, now here is the key. Now Prabhupada speaking about his own experience, not ours. Unfortunately, we do not wish to carry out the order of the Acharya. Yes, that is the reality of ISKCON Gaudiya Math Part 2. We manufacture our own ways, totally manufacture. And if you look at social media and see the speeches and commercials that these godbrothers of ours are putting up online, it's all manufactured mental concoction, not repetition of what Prabhupada's taught us. Prabhupada says here, we have practical experience how a great institution was lost by whimsical ways. What is that institution that Prabhupada is referring to? The Gaudiya Math. Period. We have, without carrying out the order of the spiritual master, they manufactured something. Manufactured. That's going on today with many of our godbrothers, concocting, speculating, promoting. And the whole thing was lost, not partially. Prabhupada didn't say, oh, well, it wasn't, or sort of. He got on a boat and left India because it was lost. And that's the situation. People say, well, Prabhupada said never leave ISKCON. You've heard that, Raghava. Oh, Prabhupada, don't leave it. How do you leave when the ship is already sunk? This ISKCON boat has sunk in the world of hypocrisy and Sahajiism. We didn't leave, we've carried on, but we've left the ship that's gone down. I always say that. The boat has left the harbor. Oh, we can save it. Well, go ahead and try. When there's 1,000 different corporations that you got to deal with. I'd say 1,000, Yaśodā, not one. There's not one ISKCON. They use that title, but corporately they run their own organizations with their own bank accounts and their own rules of how they operate. Yes. So without carrying out the order of the spiritual master, they manufactured something. That is Gaudiya Math Part 2. And the whole thing was lost. Therefore, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur stresses very much on the words of the spiritual master. If you stick to the order of the spiritual master without caring for your own convenience or inconvenience, then you become perfect. That is Prabhupada's instructions to us. And we're repeating it because people don't get it. They don't want to listen. They want to concoct, write Krishna Katha. They want to manufacture. They want to stay compromised because that movement is $1 billion movement. They have a lot of money, no question of that. And they can hire people to come and work in their kitchens, and they do. You know how much the salaries in Bhaktivedanta Manor are? I think it's $1.4 million a year in salaries. I can be corrected, so if anybody knows the amount, exact amount, but it's in the millions. And I heard in Vrindavan, the salaries are in the hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to run the Krishna Balaram Mandir. Salaries. So why not get a job? If you're not employed and you're stuck in a village in India and you have no money and someone comes to you and says, here's the guru. Oh, and they point to the person with the saffron robes. He's bona fide. He's authorized by Prabhupada. Oh, wow. I've got no money. I've got no real place to live. I can live in this palace. And what else can you get? Free food. They'll serve you prasadam. You don't even have to cook it. Somebody else, you've got somebody cooking for you. How would you like that? I have to cook every day for myself. I don't mind. But if I have somebody that's cooking for me and making big feasts, would I get excited, Dasa Avatar? Oh yeah, that's simple logic. I get feasts. I get a place to live. I get nice clothes. I got a job. I can get a salary. And there's my guru. He'll save me. I'll go back to Godhead. It sounds like heaven, doesn't it? Especially for people there. This has become a business. Don't be fooled by it. And that's the fact of the matter. We're going to go to our next section of the program, which is time, place, and circumstance. Actually, my friend Uddhama Shloka wrote a software package called Time, Place, and Circumstance. And he had all the headings, and you put your appointments and the things, what you were going to do, and where you were going to go, and then it came up on a software package. And it was quite effective when I used it years ago. Nowadays, technology has changed, so we've all got our smartphones, which are terrific if you use them in Krishna service, and then we've got our computers, and we've got our streaming services, and all this other. And think about it like this, Prabhus. Think about it like this, okay, Haskin? This wasn't in existence ever before in the world. So you never got a chance to see a video of Rupa Goswami, did you? When you see Prabhupada, he's still alive in his transcendental form, real, in sound, right in front of your eyes. This is a great opportunity for all of us to take advantage of technology to understand that Prabhupada is still living with us, and people can say whatever they want. They can't deny his words. Can they? They do. They minimize it. These people, Ram Raghava, I know you don't like me to speak so harsh. They are, and I apologize, they are lunatics. They're crazy. They have no idea of this philosophy. If they did, they wouldn't carry on the way they do. We'll move to time, place, and circumstance, with Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. All glories to the Sankirtan movement. Haribol.
Well, thank you for this presentation. We are reading from Time, Place, and Circumstances, page number 11. Point number 11. This is a discussion of how Srila Prabhupada engaged in many unprecedented activities. And ultimately, we will see where this entire presentation leads to. Point number 11. Srila Prabhupada allowed men and women devotees to wear non-devotional clothes, karmi clothes, in order to facilitate book distribution. This is from a letter given, I believe, in 1972 to Bali Mardan. Let's see the exact quote so we have an understanding of where it comes from. Yes, a letter to Bali Mardan on December 31st, 1972. Yes, if it is enhancing our distribution of books to wear warm clothes like coats, pants in winter, I have no objection. Then we also have a letter to Madhudvisa Maharaj on August 7th, 1973. There is no objection to going in Western clothes in order to distribute my books. It is not necessary that we always wear the robes, but we should always keep shika and tilak. However, a wig or a hat may be worn as you described. Regarding selling the books in karmi clothes, yes, it may be done. There is no harm. This book distribution and Rathayatra festival should go on all over the world. Point number 12. Srila Prabhupada allowed himself to be worshipped in front of the deities and have his feet washed directly in front of the deities. This must be understood in its proper context. The empowered Acharya is not an ordinary human being. Then we have a quote from Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Madhya Lila, chapter 12, text 127. According to the rules and regulations, no one should accept obeisances in the temple of the Lord before the deity. nor is it proper for a devotee to offer obeisances and touch the feet of the spiritual master before the deity. This is considered an offense. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself was personally the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, it was not actually offensive to wash his feet in the temple. However, he was playing the part of an Acharya. The Lord considered himself an ordinary human being. He also wanted to give instruction to ordinary human beings. The point is that even though one plays the part of a spiritual master, he should not accept obeisances or permit a disciple to wash his feet before the deity. That is a matter of etiquette. Srila Prabhupada explains the position of the empowered advanced Vaishnava. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 14, text number 39. Actually, an advanced Vaishnava is to be respected more than Lord Vishnu. As stated in the Padma Purana, of all kinds of worship, worship of Lord Vishnu is the best and recommended more than worship of Vishnu is worship of the Vaishnava. Point number 13. He once told a Brahmana disciple to take off his Brahmin thread and tie a microphone so it would remain steady. This may have contravened the minor rules of the Shastra, but it facilitated Prabhupada's preaching and to bring the mercy of Lord Krishna to many conditioned souls. This is from a lecture from Srila Prabhupada on Srimad Bhagavatam on April 10th, 1976 in Vrindavan, India. Prabhupada explains, now I've got it is called Niyamagraha. Without any profit to follow the regulative principles, without any profit, no. If we get the opportunity, preaching facilities for going on car, on airplane, using typewriter, dictaphone, microphone, we must use it. Because this is Krishna's property. It must be used for Krishna. This is our philosophy. This microphone is Krishna's. Ishavasyamidam sarvam. And when it is used for Krishna, it is not material, it is spiritual. Prabhupada further explains, on March 14th, 1974 in Vrindavan, India, now I've got the facility of the talking in microphone. And so why I should not take it? It will be recorded. It will be heard by so many others. I'm speaking to 4 or 5 men. He can be heard by a big crowd to 400 men. Then we have another quotation from Srila Prabhupada, a lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam on July 25th, 1975. The microphone should be used for spreading Krishna consciousness, not talking nonsense. Back to you in the studio, Vishwakarma. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yes, excellent. Time, place, and circumstance. Very interesting. And I wanted to continue on those points that were made in this section where Prabhupada talked about wearing wigs. You know, he gave permission. Because back then, in the 70s, a lot of people, because of various book distribution techniques that were developed by people like Tripurari, who used to be known in our movement. He's gone off to the Gaudiya Math. He's a guru and a Gaudiya Math sannyasi now. But he used to be with our movement. He developed all these schemes, how to take money from people. And we got a bad reputation. He had a trick called the change-up that he would teach people. And he took the liberty to do that change-up. They somehow or other extract more money from people. They thought, well, if they get the money and we give it to Krishna, it's better than them spending it on something else. All right, well, in a sense, it's like stretching the truth. But yeah, there it is, the pick. So time, place, and circumstance. So Prabhupada these people were doing this. So as a result, we had to cover up our heads. So instead of wearing a shaved head and tilak and robes, we would go and sneak in malls. We would go and go to the airport against the authority of the police, get arrested. We got arrested at the Kentucky Fairgrounds, the Kentucky Derby. I was leading a bus, and we traveled all the way from Toronto down into the southern states to Birmingham. We did Sankirtan on the streets. We went to New Orleans. We did Sankirtan in the French Quarter, Baton Rouge, everywhere. Memphis, the House of Elvis, the whole thing. We were just going at it. And then we were, because it was such a different look, and these people had never seen devotees before the police were always summoned. And they arrested us. We were in jail in Kentucky, in Louisville, Kentucky, Yaśodā. I remember that. It was quite scary. We were in that. When we went in front of the judge the next day, he said, well, where are you guys from? And I said, we're from Canada. He says, look, just get out of here. Don't come back. And they threw us out of Louisville. No big deal. But nowadays, it's different. Time, place, and circumstance. Why? Because nowadays, everything goes. Everything. Look at it, the way things are. Does anybody care if you have a shaved head? Does anybody really care? No. Do they care if you've got some kind of tilak on your forehead? No. Don't be paranoid, everyone, about your looks. I mean, let's put it this way. Some of our members are in professional positions, and there may be restrictions in the office. You might have to wear Giorgio Armani suits. I used to, when I worked at BMW, I had to get dressed up in Hugo Boss and Giorgio Armani every day with a fancy tie. Yes, you can't go work at an exotic car location and put tilak on and you'll get fired. That's it. But common sense, time, place, and circumstance, it's not the same. So during the weekend, you can go out to the store. I walk around quite proudly with my Sika. It's irrelevant. And a lot of times I get complimented. Geez, I like your hairstyle. I think, God, I don't know why people are so upset or worried about how they look. It's a superficial covering for the spirit soul anyway. So time, place, and circumstance. 2025, it's a different time, it's a different place, it's a different circumstance. And for the men, don't be afraid. Be proud of who you are. Represent. Prabhupada wanted us to represent ourselves as Vaishnavas. Let people ask us questions. Hey, how come you got your hair cut? Why have you got that Sika? And you answer with no fear. Tell the truth. Well, I'm a devotee of Krishna. Oh, really? I don't see those guys anymore. They disappeared. Yeah, that's right, they have. People don't see us. They don't even know. Really, if you think about it, like there is no Harinam in Canada, just so you know. None in this country. There are a few people that wander around on the streets and they're disheveled and, well, I don't even want to describe it. You have to go see the pictures of these people. It's not a Sankirtan party. I've got pictures of Sankirtan parties that we used to organize as temple presidents that were glorious. They weren't a joke. They were glorious. Neil Sharma, glorious. If you were ever part of it, you'd understand what we're saying. When you had 75 people on the street chanting with mridungas and kartals and dancing, and everybody dressed in dhotis and saris and giving out sweet balls for years. Oh yeah, Prabhupada inspired our movement to be that way. Now it's gone. It's gone. And when you see those, you probably see it, Neil Sharma. When you see those videos of these Sankirtan parties, a couple of old people walking around, they can maybe with a cane, and a couple of kids bouncing around with the thing, or they got the harmonium or some kind of accordion, or they got some kind of regalia, hat regalia on their beak, on their head. They look like some kind of clown, and people think, oh, that looks nice. Well, it's not exactly what it was or what it should be. So time, place, and circumstance, things have changed. And we have, and nowadays, look what we're doing. Like Prabhupada was saying in the time, place, and circumstance about the use of the microphone. Oh, yeah. So we used to use microphones. Now when someone says, well, you don't you guys aren't preaching. You don't go out on the street and sell books. Oh, we're going to start our program, and we're getting innovative ideas of how to set up at public events and come out as respectable people and show people a good image of who we are as Hare Krishna devotees and disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Yes, and you can be innovative in that way and distribute the Srimad Bhagavatam Delhi editions. Get a table, get some banners. You can go to the sign companies. They'll give you banners. You can design them. If you want some help, get a hold of me and I'll help you. I'll write up the script with you. We'll work it out. We'll figure out a way that you can go out and sell these books and look like a gentleman or a lady. And not like some confused people that are not sure if they're part of the ISKCON movement or the Gaudiya Math. They have no idea. This is going on. I'm speaking about some real understanding of this situation based on the fact that we're still alive and experiencing it from 1970 to 2025. This is a reality. So think about that. This is an all thing. And we're going to keep moving around with our program. Yes, oh yes, we are. And we're going to go to our panel. And then we'll have the lectures and all this other wonderful information for us to inspire us to take up this process and don't give up. I wrote a song called Never Give Up. When it doesn't work out, the words were, when it doesn't work out, find another way. Yeah, but we can't give up. There are problems. Happiness and distress are two sides of the same coin. Win or lose. Stay the course. Never give up. People give up. Like so many people came to our program and now they've gone. Oh yeah, I can't. They're always telling us to chant our rounds. We're not telling you to chant your rounds. If you don't want to chant your rounds, don't. That's your choice. But Prabhupada is telling us, if you don't chant your rounds, if you don't study the books, if you don't associate with devotees, if you don't offer your food properly and eat prasadam, then what will happen to you? You'll be like these people that try to explain the philosophy and are pretending to be gurus. Let's go forward with, is Dharma Bhavana here on the show? Let's get Neela Sharma. Go ahead. Make your comment, please.
Hare
Go ahead.
Krishna, Jai Shri
Please.
Prabhupada.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Yeah, thank you.
So, I have a very interesting observation which happened today to me.
Oh,
And also about a few weeks ago,
uh-huh.
is that I was invited for a home program where Jadurani Matati's entourage was here, and I don't even remember his name,
That's okay.
Swami was there from Vrindavan, who was giving out the discourse and everything. And there were some young brahmacharis also over there. And when you tell me about this movement, how glorious it used to be when you used to go out for the Sankirtan movements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I have after telling you this, I may have a question for you. Is that I
Go ahead.
talked to these brahmacharis and I said to the brahmacharis, what brought you into this movement? Now remember, they are in the Gaudiya Math lineage. They are from Narayan Maharaj's lineage, and they are full-time brahmacharis. They are
Okay.
going around to home programs, distributing books, etc., etc. But not the original books of Srila Prabhupada or anything like that, but they are all over the place. They are poured into Narayan Maharaj and everything else. But I asked them one simple question: how did you get into this movement? And guess what their answer was?
We're losing your connection. Go ahead. Say it again.
All of them. There were 3 brahmacharis, very young brahmacharis. My internet is unstable. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You're cutting in and out. Keep going. You repeat it again. Well, hopefully you get a better connection.
So
Keep going.
I asked the three brahmacharis.
Yeah. Okay. 3.
What brought them into this Krishna conscious movement? And all the 3 brahmacharis, young guys, one joined in 2023, one joined in 2022, and another one joined in 2000. Okay, 2020. Sorry, and all their common answers was what? I read Srila Prabhupada's books. Somehow or the other, I was given Srila Prabhupada's books, and I was trying to discover myself. I was trying to understand what this life is all about. I want to get away from all this unhappiness. And I said, you're so young. How much unhappiness have you experienced? I said, in order to not experience any more unhappiness, I went into this aspect. Now, I did not ask them why did they join this particular group, but the common factor is what? They read Srila Prabhupada's books. Now, this is coming from Narayan Maharaj's sect I'm talking about, okay? Now, the question to you is, Prabhuji, we have remembered asking Prabhupada, Prabhupada will always say, how he has never felt separation from his spiritual master. Now, we all know that Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj died, or I should say left his body in 1936. And Prabhupada came to the West in 1965. And he always said, I never felt separation from my Guru Maharaj. Here you are there, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu is there. You are trying to dissipate that same knowledge of Srila Prabhupada. You are trying to follow Prabhupada's instructions to the core, dotting your I's, crossing your T's. Why is it different now than what it was different then? Because if we were to keep Prabhupada alive till today, which he is, then that same enthusiasm should be there, that same zeal should be there for us to go out and preach. So my question is that, why do you feel that distinction?
Well, let's put it this way. I mean, I'm glad you asked them that question. I mean, they gave you a brief answer. I'm sure let's face it, there's more to it than that. There's all kinds of, like, for example, I'm dealing with a Gaudiya Math sannyasi who used to be a Prabhupada disciple, and he was in my Sankirtan party in Toronto. His name is Kashiram. And I'm running across him because he's working with Abhimanyu, the other devotee that's working on this BBT thing, and he's in LA right now and all this and that. And he's always in touch with Kashiram. And they have a totally different point of view in terms of understanding who Prabhupada is, no question. So they may appreciate the books, okay, fine, but do they have a deeper understanding of the philosophy? No. Do they understand that Prabhupada is living in his Vani incarnation? Do they understand that he is the bona fide spiritual master, successor from Bhaktisiddhanta? No, they don't. But, this is happening. It's unfortunate that this is going on. And I compare this, Prabhu, to Christianity. How many different Christian churches are there? Okay, there's so many. And everybody is claiming to be the bona fide representative of Jesus. So there are many people that take this role, and this is going on, and people are coming to it. How advanced they'll become, we're not Krishna, we're not Paramatma, we don't know, but we can say this, that if people come to our group, they won't be cheated. And if they attend our PhD program in spiritual life that we're giving free of charge, they will be happy in their efforts to make advancement genuinely in this process. Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, please, maybe you could further expand. See there? Is he here with us? I think he disappeared.
I think he dropped off.
Oh, Krishna. Ram Raghava, go ahead. Maybe you could comment.
On YouTube live stream, there are 7 people watching today.
Okay.
And I had a question.
Go ahead.
It's about something we read today in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. It mentions about living in Vrindavan. So in the nectar of instruction and also in the nectar of devotion, it says one of the things recommended is to live in Vrindavan. But for some of us, we don't find it possible. And also, what would happen if everybody moved to Vrindavan? So could you please comment on that? The directive to that devotees should live in Vrindavan or a place like Vrindavan.
Well, that's a very good question. And I think all of us know the answer is you create the Vrindavan atmosphere where you live, where you reside. You inject it into your atmosphere, despite all the difficulties that surround us. Now, you're in a very advantageous place, Ram Raghava, because your whole atmosphere is focused. The people all around you have the same focus. And then when you go out, you do what you can. But when you're at your house, in my situation, I have people staying here that are not devotees per se. They're positive, but they're not focused. So it's very corrupt. But nonetheless, I still, if you look at the atmosphere, there are videos of it, you see all the houses. It's like you come here, it's like an oasis in the desert. You come here, it's different. All the pictures and the paraphernalia and the prasadam that we cook and serve to people when we do that. So everybody, you make your house, you make your life focused on Krishna. And in this way, you're in Vrindavan, no matter where you go. I feel like I'm in a genuine Vaishnava abode. And especially when I visit my friends, like if I ever went to visit you, I feel very at home in the atmosphere of other devotees. And the one reason I like it, Ron Singh, is because I usually don't have to do much. They do it all. But here I have to do everything myself. So once in a while I get a break and people help, and they're cooking the prasadam and they're arranging the microphones and they're arranging this and that, and I can just fit in. The best thing, I always say this, Neil Sharma, what is the best thing you do? What is the best? Ask yourself that question. Of all the things that you do, what is the best thing that you do? And I'll give you the answer. How about that? The best thing that you can do, or anybody in this room can do, is be a devotee of Prabhupada and Krishna. That is the best thing you can do with your life. That's the best thing I do. And the best thing I do is this. And I've been doing it for a long time. I'm not bragging. I'm not saying I'm a good devotee. But of all the things that I do, and I do a lot of things I'm very good at, really I am. But the best thing that we all can do is be devotees of Krishna. And this will make you truly, eternally happy. We're going to move forward with the next section of our program.
Can I share one thing?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I wanted to share one thing.
Yeah, go.
An experience I had when I first started going to the temple in 1974.
Yeah.
Within a few months, I met this one wonderful devotee. His name is Balabhadra Bhattacharya Das. And along the same lines of what you were saying, he told me, and I still remember this, in 1975, he said, when people come to our movement, our goal is to get them to be attached to Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. And he said, because I may disappoint you, I may cheat you, and he may cheat you, pointing to another devotee, but Krishna and Srila Prabhupada will never cheat you. So that reinforces what you're saying.
You're right. Here's an interesting point. This VPD.
Wait, can I make a point?
Go ahead. Oh, okay, go ahead, and then we'll go to this next point. Go ahead, read.
Yeah.
Nilesh,
So
go
it is
ahead.
very, very interesting because there's another question which is posed in the chat, which kind of marries into it. Is that remember that you don't have to actually be in Vrindavan. You can create that Vrindavan atmosphere. What does Prabhupada tell us about his temples? You see, his temples. We're not talking about current temples. We're talking about his temples. This is a letter 1974 to Sarvamangal. Please accept my blessings. I'm due respect of your letter dated till, and I've noted the contents. I thank you very much for your sentiments, and I know that you're all working hard to make Bhaktivedanta Manor a very nice place. You should know it that our temples, they are not in this material world. The temple is Vaikuntha, where Krishna is remembered and served 24 hours daily without stopping. So we already are in Vaikuntha by participating in the temple activities. So it must be done very nicely. You mentioned controlling lust. This is very important. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tasmat tvam indriyani adau. In this very beginning, you must curb lust by regulating the senses. Therefore, we have our 4 regulated principles at the very beginning of practicing devotional life. In this way, we can turn lust into love. That is our material life. Lust is there in everyone, but because everyone is actually a lover of Krishna, but it just has to be purified by proper training. So the idea is that temple is Vaikuntha. So imagine if we were to follow Prabhupada's instructions, then can't our little place, or temple or home, be Vrindavan itself? And that leads us to this question which is posed by Prabhu VPD.
Yeah, if the fallen guru
Yeah,
dies in
correct.
Vrindavan with Kantimala and Tilak on, will they go back to Godhead? Okay. That's a very interesting question. And you know, I have to say this. Because we are not Krishna, and these comments that have been made in Shastra say that, we have to think it is up to Krishna what happens to people in Vrindavan. It's not up to us to make an opinion. Oh, I think this or that. That would be speculation. So the answer is, let Krishna take care of it, and we'll march on with our own service and create Nilashama. And, you know, I'm going to get some of these Bhagavatams. Krishna Bhakta is arranging a place on his property where he has air-conditioned space for 3 skids of Bhagavatams. 3 skids, that's 3,000 pounds. And I'm going to ship those over to him so that we have a supply there that'll be accessible to yourself and to the devotees in Alachua and up the East Coast to make it more, you know, functional to be able to distribute on the East Coast, because right now they're all on the West Coast and it's a long way away and all the shipping and this. So just show you, so you know, they're coming over there. And I know that you'll be able to take a leadership role. You're a leader anyway in your own world of preaching. And this is what we want. We're not trying to centralize things and we're in charge and this and that. No, you're all in charge of what you do, how you pay your bills, how you take care of yourself. But at the same time, work cooperatively with us so we can distribute these Bhagavatams and then move forward with our other print. I had an amazing conversation today, and I'll save it for the next program, with a devotee from Bangalore who is distributing original books and is now going to work with us as we progress forward and continue to create these original books for distribution worldwide, because they are now out of print. Just so you know, this BBTI, no. That's going away. We're going to go to the next section of our program where Ram Raghava, who's our host today, is going to play another section of Prabhupada speaking for our enlightenment and inspiration. Haribol. Go ahead.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Yugam Junjan Malasre Asangsayam Samagrama Jatha Gyasasi Tatsuno. This is a verse from Bhagavad Gita. How to develop Krishna consciousness or God consciousness. The Bhagavad Gita, most of you have heard about the name of this book. It is very widely read book of knowledge throughout the whole world. Practically in every country there are many editions of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna. So, the Bhagavad Gita is the basic principle of our Krishna consciousness movement. What we are spreading as Krishna consciousness, that is only Bhagavad Gita. It is not that we have manufactured anything. The Krishna consciousness is existing since the creation, but at least for the last 5,000 years, when Krishna was present on this planet, he personally instructed Krishna consciousness, and the instruction is left behind him. This is Bhagavad Gita. Unfortunately, this Bhagavad Gita has been misused in so many ways by the so-called scholars and swamis. The impersonalist class or atheist class are men. They have interpreted Bhagavad Gita in their own way. When I was in America in 1966, one American lady asked me to recommend an English edition of Bhagavad Gita so that she could read it. But honestly, I could not recommend any one of them on account of their whimsical explanation. That gave me impetus to write Bhagavad Gita as it is. And this present edition, Bhagavad Gita as it is now published by Macmillan Company, the biggest publisher in the world, and we are doing very nice. We published this Bhagavad Gita as it is in 1968, a small edition. It was selling like anything. The sales manager of Macmillan Company reported that our books are selling more and more, others are reducing. Then, recently in this 1972, we have published this Bhagavad Gita as it is, complete edition. And Macmillan Company published 50,000 copies in August, but it was finished in 3 months. And they are arranged for second edition.
Wow, that was fantastic. Hey, Rupa Goswami or Ram Raghava, wasn't that so wonderful? Here it is. Here's the 72 Macmillan version, and we have to make sure that this still will be available in the future for people to acquire, like the Delhi Bhagavatams. And what is the value in someone who's a third-class person who changes the writings of his spiritual master? What is the value? There is none. It's useless. So these yellow books, and you saw that, Neil Sharma, I put them in my backyard, I burned them. Why? Because I didn't want to give them to people. Why should I? I do have some copies here, and we will carry on with this program of preserving Prabhupada's legacy in his original books, unedited and unchanged. And like our classes, we have these classes that we're conducting. And I know that all of you are just really addicted to it, to come to these classes. And if you miss, you don't feel the same. If you don't come, your week isn't the same. If the circumstances are that you can't come, it's understandable, but generally we're all on the program of sadhana bhakti together, using technology to create Vaikuntha, Vrindavan in this world of misery and suffering, which we all are experiencing, very much so. And this is unfortunate, but this is reality, and we're taking the medicine. Maxim, we're taking the medicine of Krishna conscious philosophy and applying it in our lives, and it's working. And proof of the pudding is in the testing. And if you want people to really get an opportunity to understand this philosophy that are being less misled by all of these other people that are out preaching this and that and the other, try to get them to come to our programs and take advantage of the nectar that's here with all of us in this Prabhupada Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society program. Ramaragama, what's next on the program? Tell me. We have a complicated program.
Next is the Kirtan with Srila Prabhupada, followed by the 10 offenses recitation by Rupa Goswami Prabhu, then Japa, then the Vanchakalpa prayers, and then the ending Jamaican Kirtan.
Okay, let's roll it out. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 8, Offenses to be Avoided. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. First, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Sometimes the atheistic class of men take it that any demigod is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. But one who is a devotee knows that no demigod, however great he may be, is independently as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if someone thinks that he can chant Kali, Kali or Durga, Durga, and it is the same as Hare Krishna, that is the greatest offense. Third, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. Sixth, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Because by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from all kinds of sinful reactions. It should not be taken that one may continue to act sinfully and after that chant Hare Krishna to neutralize his sins. Such a dangerous mentality is very offensive and should be avoided. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities. Karma Kanda. 9th, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Anyone can take part in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but in the beginning one should not be instructed about the transcendental potency of the Lord. Those who are too sinful cannot appreciate the transcendental glories of the Lord, and therefore it is better not to instruct them in this matter. 10th, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names, and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success.
Sri Krishna Caitanya, Prabhu Nityānanda, Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta Dāsa, Srivāsādi Gaur Bhakti. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram.
Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desired trees, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, and who are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Thank you everyone for attending. Now we're going to have the ending kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare